Good evening. This is EDL 856, Module 5. I'm Dana Unruh, and this is Understanding My Community, Cheyenne Wells, Colorado. No customs and traditions. In our community, we are the Tigers. We are fierce competitors. The big four sports that we play in our town are volleyball, basketball, football, and baseball. Each of which we have been state contenders. Last year in football, we were state runner-ups. This year in baseball, we were in the top 4 in the state, and I believe we got second in state in basketball as well. We also have a 4-time state championship cheerleading team, which is not valued as one of the big sports, but that is another subject. The major pastime here in our community is golf. We are avid golf players, and as such, most of our rec district funding goes towards our golf course. We have an annual Tumbleweed Festival. This Tumbleweed Festival is a 48-hour nonstop softball tournament in which we have a Little Miss Tumbleweed pageant, there's a craft fair, there's a mini carnival, there's a street dance, there's face painting, all kinds of little things. We even have a walk for a cure during that weekend. There's free meals, there's a nut fry. Really, really fun weekend for the entire family. Later in the summer months and the beginning of August, we have the Cheyenne County Fair and Rodeo. The Fair and Rodeo is much like everybody else's Fair and Rodeo. We have professional bull riding that comes here. There's 4-H shows, 4-H auctions, many really neat things that we do here for our fair. And then last but certainly not least is one of the many things that our ESA sorority does for our town, and it's called ESA Christmas. They bring in a Santa, and the kids get to sit with Santa, and they have a silent auction, and those proceeds go towards a community member in need. And it's a very fun evening for everybody as well. Knowing population characteristics. Our educational level actually really shocked me. Only 86% of the residents graduated with a high school diploma. Now, having graduated from high school here, I was a little shocked by this because every student that has gone to school here, I think we've had 2 in the last 20 years drop out. This 86% high school diploma level has to also, I'm going to assume, include people that have moved into our community, because educationally speaking, we have a low to no dropout rate. We have a 21% bachelor's degree and a 4% graduate degree. That also really shocked me that is such a small percentage of population that actually has furthered their education. Our population is considered 100% rural. We only have about 860 residents, and our population is actually down 15% from the year 2000. Our median age is 43, and I am 41, so I guess I'm at median age. Our population is 53% males, 47% females, which is pretty evened out considering we're in the middle of nowhere. Our median home value is worth $88,000. That is $200,000 less than Colorado State's average. Our major occupations in this community are farming, ranching, and oil field related. There is also the school and the hospital and things like that also help keep our community going. But if you're looking at major sources of occupation, it would definitely be farming, ranching, and the oil field. Our median income here in our community is $46,117. That is $20,000 less than our state's average. This again, it is a blessing that our home value is as low as it is because we can live comfortably out here with a lot less money than you could if you were in the city. Our unemployment is almost non-existent. It is at 1.2%, and it is pretty steady. Again, these are usually people who move into our community, not usually people who have been born and raised here. The race, creed, and nationality status. We are 72% white, 22% Hispanic, and the other 6% is a mixture of ethnicities. Our community channel or communication channels. Local newspaper is called the Range Ledger. Most businesses here in our community have special Facebook pages and communicate a lot through social media. The local radio stations you can tune into to get local news and weather is KNAB out of Burlington or KLMR out of Lamar, Colorado. If you want on-the-spot news, which is going to sound silly, but go to your coffee shop. We have 2 local coffee shops. You see a picture here on the right. That's actually the one that my parents own, and my dad is the guy behind the counter. And if you don't get it from a coffee shop, you're going to go to the beauty shop. And, you know, it's just like they say, you can either get it at the coffee shop or the beauty shop, but that's pretty much the most accurate and minute to minute up to date on what is going on in the community. Our community groups. We have several groups, but the 4 I'm going to highlight, I've shown their icons here on the side. And the Knights of Columbus are amazing in this community. They really outstretch their hand and donate a lot of time and help a lot of people in need. The Freemasons are another organization which I think is a very valuable organization to have in our community, but they don't give back to the community a lot. ESA is that sorority I was talking about. They're an older, more mature sorority that does nothing but raise funds and give back to the community on a consistent basis. We have several religious groups as well, affiliated with each independent church. Our leadership in our community goes kind of city council, county commissioners, our county school board, or our county boards, our school boards, judges, doctors, business owners, and affluent families. Now, this might sound silly with the affluent families, but a lot of times if you've come from an affluent family, you're listened to a lot more than if you've not come from an affluent family and you still have an education to back yourself up. And so you're kind of still battling that have-not relationship that you probably grew up with. Our community leaders' characteristics. I put this picture on because I really felt like it represented all of the strong characteristics that I feel our community leaders have. A lot of them might not really be seen at all times, but in my opinion, a lot of our community leaders possess these. They're responsible and empathetic. Sometimes they're transparent, but they are confident. They're powerful communicators, they're accountable, and they all have integrity. They are engaging, they have strong values, they are trustworthy and honest, they are authentic and passionate and caring, and they are also effective listeners. Now this you're thinking, oh my goodness, they're probably the perfect person if they can do all these things. I didn't say they could do all these things at the same time. I said that they all possess these characteristics at one point or another. It's just a matter of, if you will, a perfect storm to get everybody in the right place at the right time. Our economic conditions. It is tough here. We have been faced with a lot of things. There's low faith in our city council and county commissioners because nobody wants to be on them. So we are stuck with the people who are on there, and they're on there usually for the paycheck and not for the right reason. There's little to no actual corruption here because we are such a small community. We had a huge pullout of our oil field, I want to say about 10 years ago, and that has really affected our economy and the money coming into our community as well. Out here on the prairie, just like much of you guys have to deal with in western Kansas, we've had to deal with the drought. And where I would say 75% of our community and money going in and out of our community is from farming and ranching, this is a huge thing we need to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Our unemployment, like I said, is at a very low 1.2%, but our state assistant has been recently announced that our county is the easiest in the state of Colorado to get on state assistance for, which drives up our population of people who are not contributing to our county, and thus I have a feeling our unemployment rate will rise. We have a high percentage of free and reduced lunches in our schools, which is no huge shock considering the status we are with our droughts and the oil field pulling out. We also have lost a lot of state funding, which has really hurt our schools, as well as losing numbers of students. Our political structure, and if you're looking, technically it should be the mayor, but our mayor is pretty much a guy who is kind of a joke, which sounds horrible, but it's just a title. The county commissioners hold most of the power as far as the county is concerned, and the city council is the next one down. Then you have your county boards, which would be like the recreation board and things like that, the road and bridge board, things like that. Then we have our school board. Our school board is the one in this community and the only board in this community that anybody wants to be a part of. We have elections on our school board, and people are still passionate about our schools. We have no social tensions. We don't have any racial tension. There's no tension with the LGBT community. We have several same-sex couples in here in our area, and we don't have any problems of that. The most social tension we have is between the haves and have-nots. In school, we don't really have a ton of bullying issues, but you have your cliques, as everybody would say, with the athletic versus the non-athletic students. The extra sources of information for our area would be, you can find a bunch of information about our town on websites. Our local paper is actually a historical paper that has kept records since the beginning of the community. You can look in our phone books to find other areas, and we have tons of historians that work through our library as well as our senior citizen center. And if there's ever anything we need to find out historically speaking, they're definitely the ones to go to. Our power structures in our school run like this, and I made it a pyramid because I really wanted you to see how that kind of spread out. We have the school board, which has 5 members. Then we have the superintendent, who is Mr. Bradshaw, who has, I believe, a master's degree in business management. We have our K2 principal, Mr. Miller. Then we have our school counselor, Mrs. Tallman. And she actually has her master's degree in school counseling as well. Our athletic director is the same Mr. Miller as our K-12 principal because, again, we do have an extremely small district. But if you're looking at power structure, this is how the power structure fades out through our school. Underneath the athletic district, then you'll have your affluent teachers, your teachers with tenure. Multicultural issues. We don't really have a lot of those here. Most people had some... The few migrant families we have had raised concerns with the new president. And we don't wear school uniforms, and everybody can pretty much express who they are as long as it does not interrupt with their daily school performance. Our power structure, our superintendent rules with an authoritarian style. The board tells him what to do, and then he tells the principal what to do, and he expects him to follow through with it. The principal, however, has a laissez-faire style, and it kind of trickles down to the teachers. He's not an effective leader with communication, in my opinion. They measure public opinion. They have been very good with this. The parents are usually the ones who get these things organized to send out. They're called Save the Tigers, I believe is the committee they titled themselves with. And they're very, very good at sending out these yearly surveys to find out how the community feels that they are performing for their students. This opinion poll that I'm showing you on this slide only goes out to parents with students that are actually in the district. Now, this last slide is on the public opinion survey. Last year we had a bond issue that had come up, and again, the Save the Tigers district, or Save the Tigers initiative, went through and did polling to see how we thought we were going to do with the issue. Were we going to make it? Were we going to not? And their poll was accurate, and the bond did not pass, just like it had predicted it would not. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next time.